All right. So it starts off with Garou's faceplate of Cosmic Garou breaking apart, and he states that he didn't sense anything because he got hit with the zero punch. And upon that, all the tank top fighters see that Garou's weak and obviously upset because he beat the living daylights out of them. Also, ended up beating Tank Top Master as well. So basically, completely humiliating the Tank Top name. And then Genos notices his core that looks exactly identical to the one he has. And then he plugs it in, and it looks like it's linked directly to his brain. And that's when we get hit with the phenomenal panel of Genos recalling all of future events, such as when Saitama does a serious sneeze, the serious table flip, and the omnidirectional punch. And it shows one of the pictures on the right side shows the backside perspective of Blast and Bang. And this is the moment where Geno says, move or get out of the way, and then he headbutts Cosmic Garou. That's like moments before that. So it's a very nice perspective to see. Just a lot of awesome memories that are shown visually for us. It's very nice work by Murata. An important detail that I don't know if anyone's covered it yet. It's the main picture of Genos. But wait, doesn't that look familiar? It's exactly like Light Yagami, or aka Akira, when he gets his memories back from Death Note. Genos and Light, they both have their eyes illuminated with bright white light, signifying that it's just an overload for their brain since there's so much memories and now they're unlocked and just flooding their head. Genos then asks Saitama, "Do you not remember anything?" And Saitama says, "About what?" Genos then says to explain it in short, then goes on this long monologue. Classic Genos. Right after saying to explain it in short. But this is obviously reminiscent of when Genos first goes to Saitama's house and Saitama asks, "What is your problem?" And that's when Genos goes off and tells him his whole life story, and then Saitama gets mad and says, "Hey, shorten it to 20 words or less," or whatever. It's kind of funny that they brought that back. But yeah, Genos explains the multiverse theory to Saitama, and then literally goes in one ear and out the other. And then Genos says, "You leapt through even time and space to save everyone, to save the world." Then Genos smiles profoundly at the idea of him being the only one to know the truth of what took place in the future. Genos then exclaims that Saitama showed up just in the nick of time and saved everyone. This line is for us and Genos as well, since he's the only one that knows. Because if we were to go back to chapter 166, when Genos does die, Saitama has the flashback with Genos and him praising Saitama, saying, "It's amazing how you always manage to be there on time. I guess that's a hero for you." And he basically says the exact same thing. This gives the reader some satisfaction, since we did see the future as well, and we did know that Saitama has that flashback, and like I said, Genos says the same thing. So that's pretty interesting, and I did like that detail. Then we cut to Tario and Garou actually yelling out to him, telling him to stand up. I guess a piece of Garou, at least like the spirit of him, he had just enough energy just to confirm that Tario was still alive. And we get to see future Garou's, you know, character development on full display with this short sequence. Because when he calls out to him, you can see Garou clearly smiling, and then his body shatters and ceases to exist. Tario then hears the commotion of the heroes beating the daylights out of Garou. Garou admits complete defeat to himself, claiming that it's all over. So shout out to future Garou for being the sole reason to stopping that ominous future that he didn't want. Metalbat steps in and basically says to stop kicking a man when he's down, while My Mask wants to conduct an execution. Metalbat objects to Amai's proposal. Then Saitama steps in and says, same here, same here. It's kind of like when Saitama says, can I have a cup of tea in the heroes meeting?
Can I have some tea?
Feels like the same kind of energy in my opinion. Saitama then asks if Blast took down Garou. Then Flashy Flash responds and says that a naked man one-shotted Garou, then he flew away. But it seems like something out of Blast's playbook, whatever that means.
Garou then
gets beat up some more, and then Zombie Man comes in. Then he wants to ask if there's another source to Garou's power. Like if there was someone using him like a catalyst, like God, since he's speaking from experience from fighting with a homeless emperor. Garou then acts hysterical, knowing darn well that it was from God, but he demands to hurry up and kill him. And then My Mask tries to acknowledge Garou's wish, saying, "Okay, this is what you want." And then that's when Tario grabs Amai's leg in mid-swing and shouts that Uncle, being Garou, is a real hero for saving him a bunch of times. That's when King jumpstarts his King engine at maximum output and says that everyone needs to stop because the child is watching. All the heroes that were gathering around Garou beating him up, or taking turns beating him up, parted like the Red Sea did with Moses. And then My Mask says, "Hey, King." Then King performs his killer serious stare, and Amai halts immediately, just basically stopping him in his tracks because King just gives him that cold stare. Then Bang then says that he won't let Garou throw his life away so easily, that he needs to make up for all the harm he's caused 100 times over by saving others. Then Garou says that you're gonna regret letting me live. Then Saitama says that he's not gonna regret it, and then pointed out that Garou was the one that actually saved Genos and King. Garou then says, "You really make me sick," and then he flees the scene. Everyone is surprised that Garou vanishes, and then you can just see Saitama looking up while everyone else is like looking around in disbelief. Genos then says he'll probably be a repeat offender. Genos would be the best cop ever, that's for sure. Then Saitama disagrees with what Genos says and says that they should leave the rest up to Bang. And then this is when Metal Knight appears abruptly and dispatches what seems to be like 100 or thousands of drones to dispose of the fallout. Metal Knight states that everyone is undergoing acute radiation poisoning, and then that there should be mandatory testing and decontamination procedures at the lab for everyone. And then the last panel shows Saitama sighing and Genos asking what's wrong, and you can just see that the whole city is flooded, and that's because of the battle with evil ocean water. And that's it for chapter 169. I do have some highlights. Some highlights I wanted to talk about was King acting like an actual hero. King has come a long way since we were introduced to him in season 2 of the anime. We can see, his perspective and thoughts that he was an actual phony, that he ran away from G4, the robot or cyborg, whatever it was, that Genos ended up fighting. And then Saitama followed King back to his apartment and confronted him that he was a fraud. Then Saitama suggests, why don't you actually get strong and stop being a fraud, basically? And then King thought about it, and here we are now. King is the king of poker faces, and he is brave for that. You can say he's fake, whatever, but he's turning into an actual hero. I mean, he's carrying Tatsumaki all around the place. When he died, he is over Tatsumaki and Fubuki, showing that he's the actual hero. And seeing his character development, um, I don't read the web comic because I don't want to get spoiled for the actual manga. So I'm not sure if he actually gets a power up or whatnot later on. So I'm very interested to see where they're gonna take King and his character development more. And then for some predictions for the next chapter, I would imagine that we have something with Psychos because she's still lurking around, but I was spoiled on some other videos, but I guess Fubuki and Psychos are supposed to fight, so maybe that's going to happen immediately in the next chapter. Then Saitama will probably jump up to rank A because Genos will probably tell the Hero Association what he did and maybe even show him his memories. But yeah, that's all I got. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it, and I'll be back with the next chapter.